Hi everybody, Jo here. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay and you're having a lovely day. Now, I'm coming in with another sample using our fabulous new stamps, and I couldn't resist choosing this fabulous character, Oscar. I mean, look at him. And I just think there are so many uses. And the first thing I thought was I couldn't help but put one of the magpies just landed on his back. And I've teamed it up with an older stamp, and this is the stones, and this is the large one. There is a small one as well. Now, I have decoupaged his shell as well. I just thought that was something I haven't done for a while. So I hope you like this design, and I hope you like the new stamps. As you can tell, I get a bit giddy, don't I, when we get new releases. I've added my little black line around the edge. Done that so many times, I thought you don't need to see that. And I've got Oscar, and he's on his block. So I'm going to do the main stamping in the Nocturne. So that's the black VersaFine Clair. Now, it's up to you. Either you stamp the path first or you stamp Oscar first. I'm going for Oscar. But as I say, it might be you prefer to stamp the path. And I'm going to put him sort of there. There we go. I mean, look at him. Look at the detail there. Stunning. Now, what you would do at this point as well is ink him up again and just stamp the shell. Now, you'd be glad to know I've got one coloured and cut out, but just quickly ink it. And you see, that'll give me another one for next time, won't it? So that's good. Now, the lovely stones. Right, so I'm going to position this sort of... I'm going to leave a little bit of space because, as I say, I can use my pastel pencil. The thing is, I don't want to stamp over his claws, so I'm quite happy with that. We can easy fuzzy that edge. And I could leave it there, but I just think it looks a little bit, well, you just sort of don't want it disappears to nothing. So we'll stamp that. Right, magpie. There's 3 magpies. So I'm going to see if I can just pop him on Oscar's back and just sort of hover over the top. And if you're directly over the top, it's not easy because obviously my camera's in the way. But if you hover over the top, then you've got a better chance of actually getting it. If there was a slight gap, just use your black fine liner and just extend his legs a little. So it just looks a little bit bare, so we want a little bit of something in the background. So we've got our moon mask, and we can use it, A, as a moon, but also to spotlight the magpie. Now, I always turn mine upside down. I just find it works easier for me. Blue Atoll is the elements of choice. And as always, just blend it in the lid. And I just want to come in, and I'm just going to go around. I don't want to cover the whole card because I almost want some nice white areas. Right, now turn that round. And that's enough colour. I don't want too much. I just want that. I don't want to go right to the edge on this occasion. Just so it's different. Often we do blend right to the edge and we blend around with a frame. So it's nice to do something a little bit different. Now, Midnight Blue. Now, obviously, this is a darker colour. And yes, I have a different brush for this. Now, this, I'm just going to add a little bit of cloud. So it's a gentle, nice, gentle touch. And we'll start here just so I can see what the colour tone's like. And then I just want to come across the moon. That moody sky. Can you see? Might not pick up very well. But it's a lovely way of adding just a bit of sort of atmosphere to your sky. Now, the other thing I want to do is a little bit more stamping. But I wanted to do the sky first. And I'm going to come in with some background stamping. And this is the called Dreams Beneath. Now, if you notice, I always put an arrow on the back because I have been known to stamp a sentiment or a verse upside down. And I'm sure some of you have done the same. It can't just be me. Morning Mist. Now it's a lovely light grey, but I would always stamp it on my copy paper first and second generation. And yes, it's second I'd like. Now I'm just going to stamp first off on my copy paper. Now we are going to decoupage our lovely Oscar's shell, so I can stamp over his shell if I wish. So I think we can have one right here. Really important I get that straight and the right way. And that just adds a little bit of something in the background without being too much. So onto some colouring now. And what I'm actually going to do just with the blue is just add a tiny bit actually, just onto my magpie. I do find a little bit of blue tone works well, and I nearly forgot to do that. So onto Oscar. Now I've gone for a little bit of yellow, just because I'm going to add yellow in with the lovely pebbles here. So, and you know me, I do a bit of, well, I call it cheats colouring. So I start with the lightest colour, and then I'm going to add a little bit of brown, and then a darker brown. And again, where I put the darker brown is where we'd have shadow, look. So although it looks like a bit of a dog's dinner, you can come in, this is the clear wink of Stella. I just like to use my clear because for me it gives me that extra sparkle as well as blending those colours. And then onto the stones. So I'm just going to add some yellow. And then I'm going to come in with my darker brown. Now, as I say, you will spend a lot longer doing beautiful colouring. But what's nice, if you add a light, a dark, and then a mid colour, it really helps, and it sort of brings the stones alive. Nearly done. So what we're going to do now is, again, with that clear wink of Stella, just blend those colours together. And I'm literally just going from one to the next. And I love how that's looking. So a couple of finishing touches. I've got my gold Signo, and I'm just going to, now I'm going to paint his nails. You see, can you tell I've got a thing about painted nails? I should have done mine gold to match, shouldn't I? But also, I'm just going to add some little dots of gold. I just think he's so lovely, so magical. And this is the metallic pen. At the top, I just want a little bit extra in the sky. So what I'm going to do is I've got my water brush, give it a good tap, and I'm just going to add a little bit of faux bleaching, just to add a bit of something extra. And don't worry, the sentiment stamp is permanent ink, so that won't move. Now, if you look at the difference, we've got more depth on this. So I love those stones, but they need that bit more depth. And we do that with our lovely pastel pencils. So I'm going to get the black. I may use the brown, so I'll get the brown. And in this space here, so I'm just going to come in with the black. And just fill this space. like I say, I didn't want to stamp directly, so I was happy with a little bit of space. And if we bring this along, look, and then I'm just going to bring in a little bit of brown with the pastel pencils. I do find it's lovely to mix the colours. It just helps with the tones. And then you can use your finger, or I've just got a biodegradable cotton bud, just to get in the little spaces here, look, in those little nooks and crannies. And we can just add a little bit more in here, look. Just think it needs a little bit more depth. But look at that, can you see how it really, and also we get away with that up here, look. So one more thing to do, and just where I'm going to decoupage here, just going to add a little bit of the black, and once again smudge it. Now the faux bleaching, I'm just going to dry that off with kitchen roll because I think that's faux bleached enough, and I need to do that before I add the mangaka. So a good shake, and then I just want to add a couple of little highlights, not too much, just a little bit on the magpie, a little bit on his wing, and then on the stones. And what's nice is you get the contrast then between where you've added that dark shadowing, and then you come in with the white highlight. And I think that makes such a difference. Now, when it comes to the shell look, I've coloured it in as I did all the others, dark blue, mid blue and light blue. And what I've done on the back, I've put some little foam pads because I want this bit raised and this part flat. So what I tend to do is get my lovely bippity boppity glue, and I'm going to put that on the top of the shell. But I'm also going to add a little bit to these sticky pads because they can be very sticky. And if you don't get it quite spot on the first time, it's hard to move. So if you put glue on, it gives you wiggle time. And you know me, I just need some wiggle time because look at that, you see, I've not got it spot on, but there we go, I can move it. So what it means is this I can have flat. Now what I do need is just to hold that for a minute. So while I'm holding it, I'm going to get one of my lovely sentiment stickers. And on my original, I've got put your feet up. I think this one, shall we go for walk your path? Because basically we've got one walking his path and one just having a ride. So as always, I just pop it on. Now, on my original, I put it there, but I quite like it here on this one. So I'm just going to put it there. So that's the finished design, and I think all those bits come together. So there's the original, and there's the one that we've just created. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you have fun with Oscar. I can't wait to see where you're going to put him, which path is he going to walk for you, and who are you going to team him up with. I'm thinking of so many fairies that could sit on his back. I know you lot, you're so clever. I bet you're brimming with ideas. So thanks as always for popping in. I hope you enjoy the new collection and have as much fun as we've had. And also check out the rest of the creatives. They've done some fabulous designs. So I'll see you again soon. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.